Can you get it? Make sure this big guy is not in front of the camera.
Oh, gosh.
I know. One, two, three.
Okay, Bill. How are you?
I want you to move closer to the camera.
Good evening, everybody. If we could gather around, we're going to get started. So if you guys want to, I know the sun's pretty bad in this direction, so if you want to kind of go that way and you don't have to stare right into it, there's a couple chairs right up front. Well, they're beach chairs, but there's a couple chairs available. Okay, before we get started tonight, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out. I think everyone who's here, we felt this was very important to come together as a community. So thank you very much for coming. We're going to start out with an invocation from Don Roginski. Don?
Hello, everyone. Like she said, I'm Pastor Don Roginski, and I am the pastor of two Lutheran congregations here in town, St. Paul's and Holy Trinity. So, if we could, if you want to put yourself in whatever posture you want for prayer, let us pray. Good and gracious God, we ask that you would bless this gathering. There has been a lot of hatred in our country recently, and we are here to say that love conquers hate. Bless us in our mission and help us spread the word to all people that love is what matters. And we pray in your many names. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. So we're going to start off this evening with a few comments from, we have two mayors here. Mayor Bob Sampayan from Vallejo. And Mayor Elizabeth Patterson from Benicia. I'll also note that Rebecca Roberts is here from Congressman Thompson's office. And Stephen Howard's here representing Monica Brown. So we have some good folks in the house here supporting us too. So we're going to start out with Bob Sampayan with a few words and then go on to Mayor Patterson.
Thanks, Stephanie, and I want to thank all of you. I'm going to try not to lose it. I want to thank all of you for caring, for being who you are. I saw a sign that said, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. I saw another sign, Heather, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. Was I mad? Hell yes. Did I put blame? Hell yes. Did I point my finger at certain people in our administration? Yes, I did. But do I hate? No. Because that, my friends, is what caused Heather's demise. Hatred. Hatred by individuals that believe they are truly the rulers of our country. People that have used what they believe in the power of what they believe is religion, what they believe in as righteousness, to create hate. As your mayor, I detest hate. And all of you that know me have known what I've stood for all the years I've been on council and the past 8 months that I've been your mayor. And that's unity. That's unity for all of us. That's unity for who we are as people, regardless of your ethnicity, your religious beliefs, your sexual orientation, your age, your infirmities, gender. No, it isn't all about that. It's about we standing together in unity. One of the things that really made me proud is to see Vallejo standing together in unity. Look around you. You don't just see white faces. You see faces of every color. You see different ethnicities. You see different religions. And that really has me proud, because that's who we are. We are a diverse community that has respect for one another. And that's one of the beautiful things that Vallejo has, is our diversity and our respect. Let's not forget what has happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. Let's not hate, but let's come together, as Pastor Don said. Let's come together in love. Let's come together in unity. Let's come together in belief that we are one. We are one race, the human race. Thank you.
Mayor Patterson. Thank you, Bob, for all those remarks. Stephen and I were commenting about, I can't believe that it's 2017 and we are still doing this. It breaks my heart. But on the other hand, it gives me great joy to see all of us together, as Mayor Sampayan has said, in unity, and to protect our democracy so that this fascist activity is stopped in the ground in its tracks. We have to work together. The tragedy of a young woman losing her life, not because she was in an argument with the group that believes that white is the only identity that is justified in this country, caused by a young man who believes that white is the only identity that should exist in this country, is a tragedy of Shakespearean depth. So we have to address both of those things. And I don't have the answers. So I'm looking for your help and your ideas, because even though it happened across the country, we have to be prepared for what could happen here. I'm worried, and that is why I am here, to make sure that all of you know that Benicia and Vallejo stand together. So help me. Let's have some ideas. Let's show the folks in this country that we are going to win. And we're going to win where love triumphs over hate, where multicolors triumph over all white, where multi-diversity is our future, and I embrace it wholeheartedly. Thank you.
So I'm going to get this started. just by introducing myself a little bit, but also let you know what we're going to do. We're going to have a few people from the community speak, say a few words, and we're also going to have a couple of our, both our current and incoming poet laureates. We're going to read a poem for us. And at the end, we will have a song, We Shall Overcome, that we can, someone's going to sing. Claire Syverson is going to sing, but we will also be able to sing along. I hope that, you know, that's something that we can all feel good about, because I think that's really what we're going to be needing to do. So my name's Stephanie Gomes. Some of you may know me, but I'm pretty much, why we're here is I was in bed last night and I was pissed. And I was reading the news and I was watching people say, you know, someone should organize something, someone should organize something. And so I just called people that I know and I said, hey, let's organize something. And so I want to thank everyone who jumped in and did it. And someone called someone, and you know, everybody participated, so thank you for that. Some of you may remember me. I served on city council. I served with Mayor Sempine here for a few years. And I'm also the co-lead of the Vallejo Benicia Indivisible group here in Vallejo. And I'm also chair of the Vallejo Waterfront Coalition. Once again, started it and hopefully I'll end it well. If you'll just give me a few minutes, I'm going to write this up, but really I had a lot of deep thinking about this today from last night. Didn't sleep. I watched all the news and I was really heartbroken. You know, I cried. I cried watching the news while the man who wrapped himself in the chains of slavery and stood and walked in front of those fascists with courage and spoke his truth. I cried. I cried watching the young man get beaten in the parking garage that was right next to the police department, or the disabled man who was on the ground and they were kicking him. I cried when I saw that car plow into those innocent people walking down the street and killing Heather. But I also was proud. I have to say there was a bit of pride, because there were so many black people and white people, people of different religions, different walks of life. They were together fighting these fascists, fighting this hate. You saw it. And they were right next to each other. They were all helping each other. It really was something that gave me hope. There was one clip of a you know, really probably 6-foot tall black man and a 5-foot tall white woman, and he started to get engaged with some of the guys who were just taunting him, and she gently wrapped her arms around him and just pulled him right back, and he listened like she was his auntie. She listened, and it was beautiful. They were taking care of each other. And then there was this woman. She was standing in the middle of these fascists, all black, wearing their you know, play war clothes that were really disgusting. And she was wearing all this color, bright colors. I don't know, she looked like she was from Florida on vacation. But she stood in the middle of it, all black clothing. She's standing in the middle of it with a sign, holding it up, peace. Hate has no home here. Diversity is our strength. And she just stood there. And she may have been afraid, she probably was afraid, but she stood there nonetheless. She was that voice. And it made me really, I've been thinking a lot and studying a lot, and I know y'all have too, about Germany and how the white supremacists took over there. You know, they used prejudice as a practical weapon, and they crippled the nation by going after each individual group one by one and dividing the country. Each individual group dividing it. This is what these Nazi white supremacists, full of hate, were trying to do in Charlottesville yesterday. They were doing this in our town square. They were trying to divide us. They were stoking anger, and they are trying to divide the country so that they can claim it like the Nazis did. They want to make it one party, one nation, one religion, one language. That's what their goal is. So let's learn from those mistakes. Let's learn from the people who didn't know that they were being divided at that time and stand up for each other. Let's stand. That's what we're doing tonight. That's why I wanted to do this, standing in this town square together so that we can resist this hatred, this white supremacist thinking that goes all the way to the People's House in Washington. We cannot let ourselves be divided by race, color, religion, sexual orientation, country of origin, or sex. Whatever division that they try to use. We all have that right to be ourselves and to say what we think, because we have personal freedom and we have liberty. That's what we have in this country. And these aren't just fancy words that our forefathers used. Freedom and liberty need to be our way of living. We need to protect it. Freedom and liberty cannot be taken for granted. We have to guard everybody's liberty. All of us have to guard each other's liberty. Because if we don't, we'll lose our own. And that's what what happened yesterday told me. If we allow any minority to lose their freedom by persecution or prejudice, we are therefore threatening everybody's freedom. So tonight, we're here to denounce hatred very loudly, very clearly. We're denouncing violence. We're denouncing Nazi white supremacy. We denounce racism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia, all the isms, all the phobias that bring hate into our world. We denounce it, we refuse it, and we will not let our country be taken over by it. What happened in Charlotte yesterday, that's never going to be acceptable. We will resist this march towards authoritarianism that's clutching our country right now. And in the end, it's going to come down to each and every one of us doing something, anything, something every day to preserve this freedom and this liberty. So I hope you'll join us, whether it's with Vallejo, Benicia, and Invisible, or any organization. And all of our organizations should join together to fight the hate, to fight this division, and to join together and be one. Because that's what we are as a country. We are one country, and I refuse to let them take that from us. So, I want to say rest in peace to Heather Heyer. We will keep up the good fight for you, Heather. And rest in peace to the 2 Virginia State Troopers who lost their lives. Troopers H.J. Cullen and Burke Bates. They didn't deserve to not go home to their families yesterday. So united we must stand in peace and love towards one another. That is the only way to beat hatred and fascism. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you for giving me that time. I'm going to turn it over now to Janae Bryce, who's the current Poet Laureate of Vallejo, and she's going to... Where's Janae? Here you are, Janae. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Come on, let's give Stephanie another hand. She was great. So I was invited last night, impromptu, or early this morning, and it was my intention to write a brand new poem in honor of Charlottesville, Virginia. And I'm going to tell you, that was the hardest thing I have done this far, and I just couldn't write it because I didn't hear the music that I normally hear when it's time to write a poem. I didn't hear the music that I needed to get going because my heart was breaking and my heart was bleeding, and all I could see was the fact that that was yesterday, 2017, but we may as well have been on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And I said to myself, whatever I can do, whatever friend I can make, whatever speech I can give, whatever poem I could pen to say, we all stand together or we all fall together, I'm going to say it. I was fighting back the tears. I'm not usually this emotional. I try to hold it together. But this is important, to think that somebody died because they were standing for what they believed in. Somebody used a car as a weapon to break down another human being. It's awful. So I didn't write a new one. I have one that I read before, revised a bit. But nevertheless, I hope you get the message and you hear my heart. United. More than just the first name of our country. More than an airline too. It is a state of being. It is the first letters, you and I, standing side by side and being okay with that. It is deliberately trying to undo the damage of deadly decades, centuries of isolation, segregation, and separation caused when a nation, blinded by its own greed, fails to validate, let alone meet the needs of all its citizens. What do you expect when bigotry marries capitalism? It is only when we decide that brown eyes and blue eyes deserve to see all the surprises that this world can hold, without bitter blinders blocking our periphery, so we all can see the big picture. It is acknowledging our universal need for competitive education without repetitive segregation. I said competitive education without repetitive separation and segregation. And finally, admitting that rich kids get taught and poor kids get tested. Then we will speak truth to power. Then we will be united. United because we all want literate children taught by competent teachers who aren't afraid of any student and care about every student. United because we all want a safe, beautiful, braggadocious city with safe, beautiful, braggadocious streets and safe, sane, sensitive peace officers who ask questions first. Yes. We all want the same thing, though we may speak different languages. We all really believe the same things, though we may give it out differently. What I am saying to you today is, what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, should not happen in Vallejo, California. Will not happen in Vallejo, California, because we're standing together. And may I say, we are united today because we want to be. United today because we must be. Because if we are not united today, we may rest in peace tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janae. Beautiful. I'm going to welcome Hakeem Brown, who's with Neighborhood Rising, and also the second vice president of the NAACP. Hakeem.
Thank you, Stephanie. I want to thank everyone for coming out. We really appreciate it. First, I would like to have a moment of silence for Heather Heyer, the young woman who was killed in Charlottesville the other day. So if we could please have a moment of silence. Thank you. As I look at this picture of this young lady who died standing up for what she believed in, she didn't have to be there. She did not have to voice her opinion. She could have stayed at home and watched it from the TV like most people. But instead, she felt that her ideals, her integrity, she needed to live them instead of just speaking them and sitting at home. So, you know, it's very important that we acknowledge her and really never forget her sacrifice. I know everyone's out here concerned about what can we do. You know, we're very far away. Well, I would say the first thing I would say is we're doing it right now. It's called unity. It's called standing together on a Sunday when everyone is getting prepared to go to work tomorrow, but still everyone feels very strongly against what happened here in Charlottesville. So that's how we fight it. We start with unity. We also start with respecting each other, learning from each other, empathizing with each other, and loving each other. That's how we fight racism, and that's how we fight white power, and that's how we fight domestic terrorism.
Right.
We must realize that we're only as strong as our weakest link. It is our responsibility to stand together. It is our responsibility to make sure that hate doesn't take root here in Vallejo. You see, Trump is a product of complacency. Very few people thought he would be president. Who would have ever thought he would be in office? Our divisions aided his rise and people like him. Together we are a majority. Divided we are a minority to be conquered. Let this administration and this time in our lives be a wake-up call. We must vote, we must stand together, and we must win.
Yes.
And always remember, the Civil War wasn't a war fought pitting blacks versus whites. It was a war won by blacks and whites standing together, fighting and dying together for an ideal that all men are created equal. So though this is a start, I hope that everyone still stays engaged. Everyone understands that we need to stand together, empathize with each other, learn about each other, and come together as a community. Not just today, but next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. Regardless of elections, regardless of small petty issues, we're all one people, we're all human beings. Thank you.
Grabbing for her pen, not the mic. Sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ms. Brown. Okay, Brenda Crawford, who is the chair of the Stonewall Democrats and a very known activist in town. Ms. Crawford. There she is.
Is Karen Sims? Karen, come on. Yes. You know, where two or more organized, where two or more gather, we organize, right? Tired of visuals, y'all. Tired of visuals, you know? Karen and I have been working on a project that was developed by this woman named Joan Blaze. And Joan Blaze is a co-founder of MoveOn.org. And Joan came out she was televised. We did a teleconference with Joan a couple of months ago. And Joan trained us how to do this model that's called community living room conversations. You know, Joan Rivers had this thing about, can we talk? Yeah. We need to talk, y'all. You know, in small groups, we need to talk. We need to figure out what is going on in Vallejo, how we can improve the quality of our life, and to guarantee that hate does not live in our town. You know, hate does not live in our town. We will not tolerate hate in our town. So I'm going to ask you all, those of you who are standing here and who, like me, are tired of these damn vigils and really want to do something about it, really want to talk to people who I don't know. I want to have small groups of people talking to each other. That is how we break down barriers. You know, that is how we come together as a community. That is how we heal. We talk to each other. Simple. You know, we talk and we extend the hand of friendship. Those folks who say that they are Christians, you know, we only got 2 commandments as Christians. And that is to love the Lord our God with all of our heart and to love our neighbors as ourselves. There are lots of folks who say that they do the first, but not many can say they do the second. And so I want Vallejo to be a city where we do the second, where we love our neighbors as ourselves. I don't care if you don't want to do the first, but we need to do the second, you know? So I'm going to ask you all to look for Karen Sims, and I will find her a piece of paper. And if you want to be a facilitator of a Vallejo living room conversation so that we can start to bridge our differences and come together as a town, go over and sign up with Karen. Thank you all very much.
I think she was going to drop the mic.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, Tom says don't do that. All right, we're going to hear from Mina Diaz. She's with Diaz Loera. I'm going to get my Spanish out. Loera Centro Latino.
Hello, everybody. I wasn't supposed to be speaking today, so I kind of am here because I believe in us being here and uniting. I've had some things going on, so I didn't prepare anything. But I think it's just common sense for everyone to know that change comes within. Change comes at a small level and then grows outward. And what we're doing right now is starting change. We have people in Vallejo that care extremely about our city and care about each other. We've seen this time and time again. Now, the incident that happened in Charleston is horrible. It's a dangerous incident that, if not stopped, can grow. And can grow in a way that's going to become a snowball. And we're all going to be rolling along with that. Because it doesn't just affect a certain group of people. It doesn't just affect the African American community or Latinos or Asians or white. It affects all of us. And that's the reason why we all need to work together. Racism has been around forever, over 200 years. The fact that it's being so blunt right now, and they're putting it out there as much as they are, might actually be a good thing. And you might wonder why. Well, what it's doing right now, it's organizing people. You know, the same way that when all this immigration chaos is happening and they're wanting to deport innocent people, what it's done to the Latino community is it's united us. It's make us come forward one at a time. We're not afraid. We're not afraid because we are growing in numbers. And the same thing is happening in Vallejo. You know, the minority of people that oppose certain things, that believe in each other, is growing every single day. And you can see that today. And those that didn't come, it's a Sunday afternoon. You know, sometimes it's hard to get folks out here on that day. But let's continue to work together. My father in the 60s, picking fruit, got to hear many slang words towards Mexicans. My grandson will not hear that if I can help it. So I need everybody to unite with me and to reach out for everybody and not to stand up when it's an event like this. But if you're at the store, if you're walking down the street, if you're at your son's school, speak up. When you hear something that's injustice, speak up. Because sometimes some people are afraid to do that. And you might be the only one that can actually be their voice. So come forward, and before you know it, things will get better for all of us. We either move forward together or we're going to fall together, believe me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. Pretty good for not having something prepared. Okay, Tom Bilbo. Tom's board member with Solano Pride and the Stonewall Democrats. He's on the an executive officer. And he provided this lovely sound system, so thank you, Tom.
So, you know, as I look out, I see a multitude of different colors, different races, different people from economic status variance, as well as also from different walks of life. And this is America. What we saw in Charlottesville, that is not America. That is a group of hate coming together to do nothing but promote hate. And so if we come together like this for peace, we need to also come together to work for peace. Peace is not something that just comes by like a rain or a cloud. Peace has to be won, it has to be worked for. So everything that we need to do to make sure that we can live in a peaceful America, a just America, and an equality America, we need to do. It's going to take every one of us to rise up, to say, no, you're not going to take away my liberty. You're not going to take anything away from us that we are given as a human being. Because when you do that, what are we? They are making us less than human. We are not less than human. We are all humans, and we all have rights, and we all have the God or deity-given right to exist in a peaceful, loving environment in our homes, in our towns, and in all of our country. And for them to try and take it away from us, well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to fight. Who else is ready to fight? Yes, fight peacefully. We want to make sure that they do not, we want to stand up. We want to stand up and make sure that they don't go unchecked. So if they're out there spewing their hate, I think it's something that someone said once, we need to check a brother. Make sure that they don't have the permission to take anything away from us. Now, Heather lost her life for what she was doing. 20 people got injured because of what they were doing. We all have to be willing to risk that. Well, I guess that's sort of risk it. Yeah, it's still working. We'll leave it alone. The wind.
They don't knock us out.
Yeah, there you go. They can knock us down. They can't knock us out. Thank you for that. But yeah, so here, I'm going to go ahead and shut up. But please, if you are in need, reach out to the organizations like Solano Pride, and we can help you, or also Stonewall Democrats. There's a lot of services here that can help.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, you guys, two things on order of business. First, I want to thank Councilmember Katie Meisner for coming. Also, at 7 o'clock, which is 10 o'clock Eastern, there's a moment of silence and a candlelight vigil for Heather Heyer, who was killed yesterday. So we have like 14 minutes. So just letting you know we're running in with that. I want to give a little bit of time to some folks that we need to get involved in this conversation a lot more. And what? Oh. We need to get these people involved in this conversation a lot more and actually leading the conversation ultimately, and that's our youth. So we're going to hear from Club Stride Youth. There's 3 folks, and they're going to share their time.
Hi, everybody. Hi. How are you? So we're from Club Stride. If you guys don't know what Club Stride is, we're a youth organization. We're all about empowering the youth. We're very aware of what's happening in our local community. You guys can check us out, 1709 Sonoma Boulevard. My name is Raven, and we were just discussing it on our Club Stride page. And I'm just so, it hurts, to see that in 2017, we're digressing 60 years back to what happened 60 years ago. And this is my future America, I'm only 19 years old. So this is my future, and it's just like, wow. How, it's terrible that this is happening. I was reading up on it because I was very interested in it, and the mayor of Charlottesville even said that, he can't believe it. We've come a long way in American history, dealing with segregation and looking at people because of their color and not who they are. And Charlottesville itself has come a long way to digress all the way back. So like everybody's saying, it's really up to us. This is our country. This is founded for the people. As a young person, I can do so much, but as a community, we can conquer it all. We can take it down. And it is really up to us. If we stick together, because we know what's right. And what happened in Charlottesville was not right. At the end of the day, it was not right. We know what's right. And since we already know what's right, now it's up to us to take the steps. We know here that we're not going to let that happen in our local community, but we can also help other communities that aren't so diverse and aren't so progressed as we are here. So that's all I wanted to say. This is coming from the mouth of the youth. That's right. I was very hurt. So I'm going to pass it on back to you guys.
Hey, I'm Baisaka, like she already said. Yeah, like she said, it's definitely obvious that as not just as a nation, but as a species, that just shows how far we've fallen in just a few years. The real impact of the civil rights movement was up and going, it was making changes, and it was obvious that by having peaceful protests and by simply talking about things that we could get things done. But now we're going back to how things were originally, where we only solve things with violence. We only solve things through just being kind of nasty to each other. You can see it on the internet, not only in the real world. And my main question is, a lot of people are saying, this is happening, this just started happening, but did this ever really leave our country?
That's right.
This is a major part of our country from the very beginning. That's right. This country was founded by completely suppressing and almost killing a whole people. Yeah. So you have to really ask yourself, did this leave our country? And you have to ask yourself, these people who can protest about hating us, almost everybody, for the most, anybody who isn't white, these people who can protest about that, these people who can run people over with their cars, kill one person, injure, 19 other people. These people are allowed to live in our country, but somebody who is poor and living in a terrible circumstance, who just happened to be here because his mother or father came over from a different place, can't live here now? Right. Is that very fair to have? Yeah. A group of people who are allowed to subject and suppress and hate and even kill, murder a whole, just pretty much anybody else who isn't in their category. So I guess that's what I have to say, I guess.
Yeah, well said.
Hello everybody, I'm Cameron Marcuse, and it's just beautiful to see Vallejo come together. I know we came together before, and we always come together in crisis, so everybody out here, give yourself a big round of applause, please. A bigger one, y'all deserve it. You see, my shirt says One Vallejo, created by Mr. Landis Grader himself, and it's a community. When we bond together, when we stick together, we will see change. I don't have any fear about us turning into Charlottesville, because if you look around, you see the most diverse city in the town, or the most diverse city in the state. Some could say the most diverse city in the country. And so I love that about Vallejo. I love the fact that we always come together in times of need. I love the fact that I can look around and see black and white couples. I love the fact that I can look around and see just so many races and so many people here because they care about what is going on in the world. So for that, we all deserve another round of applause. City of Vallejo, you are amazing. The thing is, we got to keep this going. We can't just stop here. We got to do something else. We gotta see what is next. And so that's what we're working on as a youth. And we're right there up the street. And if y'all have ideas or y'all have anything y'all want to help us out with, y'all can come right there to 1709 Sonoma Boulevard, always, anytime, and help us come up with a plan and be a part of our plan that we have going, because this is the city of Vallejo, and we will not stand for any type of white supremacists or any hatred in our city. In my city, your city.
Wow, let's give it a hand for our youth. Okay, we have 6 minutes until we have the candlelight vigil, and we have 2 people who want to speak. So if you want to split your time, I have Jessica Brown. Jessica, are you here? And then Susan George.
Like everyone was saying, it's incredible to see this turnout tonight. It's definitely, with every visual, the numbers double or triple or whatever. So this is great. But, I will just try to speak through this. I'm going to start with a quote from Harriet Tubman. In my dreams and visions, I seemed to see a line, and on the other side of that line were green fields and lovely flowers and beautiful white ladies who stretched out their arms to me over the line, but I couldn't reach them no how. I always fell before I got to the line. That was Harriet Tubman. August 12th, 2017, there were lives lost. Over 20 others were injured. What happened yesterday, it didn't have to happen. According to one site, one of the main organizers was a right-wing blogger who filed a lawsuit to the city. Charlottesville mayor opposed holding the rally near the Robert E. Lee Monument. If you are not aware, there has been some efforts to remove that statue of the Confederate general, and that's what the rally yesterday was for. It was people wanting to keep that Confederate monument in its place, and what Heather died for was to express that that monument stands against everything that what we are here for, and that's what she was fighting and trying to speak it. And anyways, the rally, it could have been prevented because Friday night a U.S. judge gave permission to that rally to be held anyways. And so that's, for me, being a minority, it's frustrating because it's a judge who could have stopped it. Heather could still be alive, and those 20 other people could not be injured. They could be at home with their families. And so, let's just let that sink in for a minute. A friend of mine today said silence is sometimes the best answer in regards to Colin Kaepernick making the choice to kneel during the national anthem. And yes, to an extent, he is right, as is Mr. Kaepernick. However, we as a community and individuals, when our individuals grow, community progress and sustainability are dependent on those who live here. When we make the choice to remain silent or not get involved in the issues within our own community, we are alerting those who are committing the harmful action that people can keep doing more actions. But anyways, I'm getting turned off. But anyways, the main thing I want to say is if you're here today, the best thing that you could do tomorrow is if you have the opportunity to promote a minority, if you have the opportunity to encourage a minority, to give a minority, anybody, the opportunity to be somebody more than what they are, then that is your moment to honor Heather and all of the people that have lost opportunities. Yes. Because when you take away opportunities, you are an ally to the white supremacists. So, every day.
Thank you so much. Sorry for the rush, but we have 2 minutes and I really would like to honor Heather. So, does anyone have candles here? Who has their candles? Okay, if you want to light them, we have 2 minutes. And then we're just going to do a couple minutes of silence for Heather. And we have a couple people who want to speak. We also have our final poet laureate, D.L. Lang, and then we're going to end up with a song. So, if we're going to take a suspended moment and light our candles. 32 seconds, okay. Because she was 32 years old. So, does anyone need candles? Or lights?
Turn it off.
I'll turn off the light. That would require hands.
Put your hand around it, honey. I don't know how to do it. Yeah.
Anybody need a candle? Anyone need a candle? Lots of candles up here.
That's what we said.
Anyone needs a candle, we have them up here. If you need your cell phones.
Just like that.
Okay, right.
No.
It's okay. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Can I have 32 seconds, please, of silence for Heather? Thank you. Okay. You can keep holding your candles to keep the light lit because we're not going to let those lights go out anyways, are we? Okay, so let's see. We have a couple more people who want to say something, and we can also, after we're done with the song, if someone wants to get out on the open mic, you're welcome to do that too. So, Alex with Migrante Solano. Is Alex here?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Alex Magsano. I'm a member of Migrante Napa Solano, and I'm actually also a member of the Safe Haven Coalition. If you guys remember the May 23rd event, where we declared this city as a safe haven, and we want the community to be united, and we will not be divided. And I just want to say that as a part of Migrante and Safe Haven, that we stand in solidarity against any form of bigotry and hatred that's rising up in our times, and we really need to put a stop on it. There is a growing tension and growing hate that's going all around our country. And we really need to start building ourselves and rising to eliminate all those forms of hate. And we actually condemn those institutions of hate that is actually in our society right now. And if you guys know that there is a rise in the military-industrial complex to the militarism of our society, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the urban shield. Sorry. With the urban shield that's going on, there's a momentum to militarize our communities, and we really need to put a stop on that as well. It's an institution of hate, as well as the prison industrial complex that already exists, that are really a form of racism that's really institutionalized in our society. We really need to put a stop on that as well. And if you guys know, the one other institution that's really rising up right now is the rise of private detention centers that are being used to detain immigrants and getting them deported. It's a money-making scheme, and it is a form of hate that's really dividing our communities right now, and we really need to put a stop on that as well. To me, I think that we really need to build our community, resist anything that divides us and builds a culture of hate. And we really need to defend our communities away from all those things. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. We are not afraid. Okay, we have two more. Susan George, and then Councilmember Katie Meeser is going to say something. Susan.
Hi, everyone. I am one of your elected Assembly District delegates. I'm with the California Democratic Party. This isn't about one party or another, because we're all here. We could be from many different parties. But I'm here because I wrote a resolution that I hope will be adopted, and it was signed by a number of people here. I hope that it will be adopted by the California Democratic Party this month. And I'd like to read it to you. This is about two particularly vulnerable communities. However, we're all vulnerable if you speak out against hate. And the only way that we become stronger is to stand together. And that's really the message. Resolution condemning hate crimes, specifically targeting Muslim and Jewish persons and communities. Whereas in 2015, hate crimes targeting Muslims in the United States increased by 67%, reaching a level of violence not seen since the aftermath of the September 11, 2001 attacks. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, anti-Semitic incidents increased in the United States for the second straight year, according to the Anti-Defamation League's 2015 audit of anti-Semitic incidents. And whereas in 2017, there have been more than 100 reported bomb threats against Jewish community centers, Jewish day schools, and other Jewish organizations and institutions in more than 38 states. Jewish cemeteries have been desecrated in Missouri and Pennsylvania, and there has been a significant rise of online harassment and hate speech directed at Jewish journalists and individuals through social media. And whereas in 2017, Islamic centers and mosques have been burned in Texas, Washington, and Florida, and hate-based violence against those who are perceived to be Muslim, including members of the South Asian communities and Hindu and Sikh Americans, has also been on the rise. Therefore, be it resolved that the California Democratic Party affirms that we are a party that stands united in condemning hatred in all of its forms. Be it further resolved that the California Democratic Party calls for more vigorous investigation of hate crimes in California by its Justice Department, and to better inform the public on how to report hate crimes or potential hate crimes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Councilmember Meisner. Where are you?
Katie.
Go, Katie! Hold your microphone.
Thank you, Councilmember Stephanie Gomes, for organizing this incredible event in such short notice. And I went into my closet and whatnot and found a American flags, and my Women's March sign. You know, back in January when we went to the Women's March, we didn't even realize how bad it was going to be, And so I'm so thrilled that so many people were able to come out today. And I was just told by Elizabeth Mathern that, the phone just, there it goes, that there's a petition on moveon.org. It's add your name, denounce white supremacy. We stand united against white supremacy, neo-Nazis, and the alt-right. We denounce their toxic hate, fear, and violence. We must come together to condemn ideas that have fueled the violence in Charlottesville this weekend. So in closing, resist fear, assist love.
Okay, thank you. Wow. Okay, so we're going to have D.L. Lang, Vallejo's incoming poet laureate.
Thank you, everyone. I wish I was meeting you all in better circumstances. I stayed up until 2 o'clock this morning writing this poem. Charlottesville. United we stand, together as one. Daughters, mothers, fathers, and sons, members of every religion and race, here in Vallejo, the world's most diverse place. In these difficult times, we have chosen to embrace. We stand in solidarity with Charlottesville. We must, as a nation, condemn those who kill. We refuse to condone such great evil. As most carried about their weekend, these souls bravely stood up for what is right, taking to the streets and risking their lives, choosing to shine a light on the darkness our country so often denies. They chose to stare hatred right in the face. The ideology of white supremacy is what caused this tragedy. It must come to an end. We must name it, we must change it. We must learn to live together as friends and rise above fear and indifference. Like our ancestors before us, we must condemn and be vigilant against Nazism, a philosophy of exclusion and violence that has claimed its most recent victims in Charlottesville. The road we walk may be a steep hill, but together we can make it. We must and we will. May peace and justice come soon for all people. May Lady Liberty's torch shine ever brighter on the path our nation is meant to be on. One of freedom, equality, and democracy for all of humanity. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. So sometimes it seems that everything happening in this country, it's always on the East Coast. You know, I don't mean bad things, but politics, all the things where you could go march on Washington and things like that. But the fact of the matter is that the biggest thing that we have to counter here, kind of out on the West Coast, is apathy. Is feeling like we can't have an impact. And we can. We can by doing things like this, by doing things like Brenda Crawford and Karen Sims are organizing, by every organization here that's doing their little part. That's how we're going to do it. And anytime someone does something like what happened yesterday, we will stand up and we will be right here again. And every time something happens that's unjust, if you're on the train, if you're on a plane, if you're in a public place, we speak out, we stand up. We do not tolerate this ever, ever in our country. So that's what, to me, us coming here, that's what we're saying to the universe. This isn't going to happen in our country. This is our country.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we're going to close, although again, we can have an open mic after, but I'd like to have a song. Claire Syverson?
Yeah. We have some lyrics we're doing.
We have some lyrics, okay.
Okay. You want me to hold it? Yes. Over here.
We're going to sing We Shall Overcome, because we shall.
Who else wants to?
Some people already know the lyrics. Oh, my name is Myra Torres. Vallejo, Venetia, Invisible.
And I'm Claire Severson. We both live here.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. One last time, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you. So if anyone wants to get in a photograph too, we'd like to do a photo at the end. Is there anyone else? So if anyone wants to gather to get a photo, please come up front. Oh yeah, the light, actually, you should stay there.
So right here?
Yeah. Why don't you stay there and we can have beautiful Vallejo in the background. Thank you.
Where do you want it, Bill?
Okay, so the photographer is asking us to be right there in front of this wall so everyone's face is clear. This is a good photo to have to show the world what Vallejo is all about. If you guys want to grab these signs here, anybody can hold these. Also candles. Bill, is this a good spot? You guys, over there, right here, right? Parallel to the wall. So parallel, not a curve, parallel to the wall like this. Left to right. Can you see everyone? Because he's going to go on top of this. You're going to go on top of this. All right. Do you know there were 250 people that came today? Just so you know. We counted. Thanks, Stephanie Gomes and Indivisible.
more people get out front here and sit down or kneel down? Come on, we're a little wide. We're together, right? Is this about Vallejo, Benicia together? Come on. Those who can kneel should kneel or sit.
Squat for a limited amount of time.
How are we doing? Okay, you guys in the back, you're going to get lost. Is that okay? Otherwise, come on up front. Okay, we've got to do it quick. We're just going to go.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah!